गिर रहा है। पता नहीं कितनी बार गायब हो गया।
हरिनाम संकीर्तन की अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरे कृष्णा। So we are reading from Canto 5, chapter number 19, the island of Jambudri, shloka number 21.
What you say? Thank you.
Five 1921. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। एतदेवा हि देव गायन्ति। So this is the devas are singing. Aho amisham kimakari shovanam. Prasanna eshasvidutam swayam hari. Yer janma labdam nuchu bharatajire. Mukunda sevai paikam shuragina. Etadeva hi deva gayanti. Aho amisham kimakari shovanam. Prasanna eshasvidutam swayam hari. Yer janma labdam ruchu bharatajire. सेवाय पैकं स्पृहहीना एतदेव हि देवा गायन्ति अहो अमीशां किमकारि शोभनम् प्रसन्न एषा स्विदुतं स्वयं हरि येर्जन्म लब्धं शुभारताजिरे मुकुन्द सेवाय पैकं स्पृहहीना
मुकुंद सेवा
What to word mean? Eta. This. Evil. Indeed. He. Certainly. Devaha. All the demigods. Gayanti. Chant. What devas are saying. Aho. Oh. Amisham. Of these inhabitants of Bharatvarsha. Kim. What? Akari. Was done. Shobhanam. Pious, beautiful activities. Prasanna. Pleased. Yesham. Upon them. Sweet. Or Bhuta. It is said. Swayam. Personally. Hari. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yea. By whom? Janma. Birth. Labdam. Obtained. Nushu. In human society. Bharata Achire. In the court ad of Bharat Varsha. Mukunda. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who can offer liberation. Seva. Aupaikam. Which is means of serving. Spruha. Desire. He. Indeed. Na. Our. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So, without looking at your screen or gadget, what could be the translation of this? Just rephrase it, not necessarily word direct meaning. Not
Devta is glorifying the...
Devta is saying, Gayanti, okay?
Glorifying the Bharatvarsha, what pious deed they might have done, that Lord Hari has come as a human form in this land.
Okay. Any other Advaita?
So, almost similar to that, how fortunate beings who are getting birth in the land of Bharatvarsha, they get a natural chance to serve.
Natural chance to serve Mukunda. Okay. So, the natural inclination for the living entities, those who are born in Bharatvarsha, is Mukunda Seva. Nothing else. Very good. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Please repeat this translation. Since the human form of life is the sublime position for a spiritual realization. All the demigods in heaven speak in this way. Gayanti. That is what they are saying. How wonderful it is for these human beings to have born in the land of Bharatvarsha. They must have executed pious acts of austerity in the past, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself must have been pleased with them. Otherwise, how could they engage in devotional service in so many ways? We demigods can only aspire to achieve human birth in Bharatvarsha. For what? To execute devotional service. But these human beings are already engaged there. These facts are further These facts are further explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 9.41. भारत भूमि ते हैले मनुष्य जन्म यार जन्म सार्थक करे कर पर उपकार. One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India. It is the land of India, not only Bharatvarsha, India. In bracket Prabhupada writes Bharatvarsha. Should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. There are many facilities in India. What are those facilities? Bharatvarsha for executing devotional service. In Bharatvarsha, all the acharyas contributed their experience, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally appeared to teach the people of Bharatvarsha how to progress in spiritual life and to be fixed in devotional service. From all point of view, Bharatvarsha is the special land where one can very easily understand the process of devotional service and adapt it to make his life successful. If one makes his life successful in devotional service and then preaches devotional service in other parts of the world, people throughout the world will actually benefit. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Ramayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapadamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Tam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Sarvadutam Vaitana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Radha Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vinamsa Sri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tatra Kamchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusre Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Parihanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaurabhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Since the human form of life is the sublime position for the spiritual realization, all the demigods in heaven speak in this way. How wonderful it is for these human beings to have born in the land of Bharatvarsha. They must have executed pious acts of austerity in the past, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself must have been pleased with them. Otherwise, how could they engage in devotional service in so many ways? We demigods can only aspire to achieve human birth in Bharatvarsha, maybe in Bangalore as well, to execute devotional service. But these human beings are already engaged there. Srila Prabhupada. So, as yesterday I wrote there that you must be surprised that once Shubha Vilas Prabhu was here, and one Saturday he was talking about Ramayana, and he said that if you are to come in Vedic literature, especially Bhagavatam and Ramayana, you have to be super extraordinary devotee, or you have to be extraordinary demon, super extraordinary demon. Both the extremes only you have space on the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. But we also have a space in Srimad Bhagavatam. How? Being born in Bharatvarsha. So that means we are very, very fortunate and very, very special. And when we are very fortunate and special, it also means that it comes with a lot of responsibility. And that responsibility, Prabhupada once said that if the whole world is failing to come to the spirituality, you know who is responsible? We are responsible because we have not performed our responsibilities, our duties up to the mark that we are supposed to do that. So we are very special, and that's why we are here. Thanks to our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada for mercy. At least we know we are special, and we are in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bharata bhumite haile manusya janma yara janma sarthaka kare kara prabhuka. Not only in Bhagavatam, in Chaitanya Charitamrita also we are there. Bharata bhumite haile manusya janma yara. So very, very special. So there are 3 points from this purport. One is Devata's astonishment. Devatas were astonishment. Oh, how fortunate are these wonderful souls, those who are taken birth. And then most of the times we speak about this rarity of the human form of life. How rare is this human form of life? And the last is that even more special are those who are born in these Bharat lands. Not only the Bharat Varsha, but in the Bharat land. So this particular canto, Islands, 5th canto, in the chapter 19, the islands of Jambu Dvipa, there are different prayers by different residents. And beginning of the 19th chapter, we had the prayers of which Varsha? That was after that. Before that? King Purush. Yes, very good, sir. So means we are attending. We are attending.
University.
Oh.
I just heard it.
So Kim Purusha. And who was offering prayers? Hanumanji to Lord Ramji. After that, after a few slokas, then he started with the Bharatvarsha. And who were offering the prayers? Narad Muni. To whom? Narayan Rishi. And after that, there were the descriptions of the oceans and lands and the other things. And now, from 21 to 28 is the Gayanti. So Devatas are also singing. Not only we are singing, Devatas are also singing. But what they are singing, they are not singing any other song, but they are singing. Oh, how fortunate are these people? They are looking at, and they are saying that how fortunate are they. So that's the Devatas' astonishment. So Devatas are surprised. How wonderful it is for these human beings to have been born in the land of Bharatvarsha. Whole our life is to have better and better facility, and when we think that the topmost of the facility that we may have into the Swargaloka, but for our surprise, the people from the Swargaloka, Devatas, they are looking down and they said, oh, in fact, you are so fortunate. It is like that we in the people of Bharatvarsha, Bharat land, this earthly planet, we always look towards the west. That if I go there, if only I go there once and I will start earning in some different currency, my life will be successful. But when those people having that foreign body, and when they come here in dhoti kurta or in saffron putting tilak, and when they chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and they said, oh, how fortunate are you people that you are born in this Bharatvarsha. In fact, I was hearing the class on this particular shloka, and it was from Chicago, And the devotee was giving, he said, I am not at all fortunate because I have not born in Bharatvarsha. And he is saying, those are very fortunate. So he is looking from the west to the east, and he is saying that those who are very fortunate because they know Krishna, they know Lord Ram, they know Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I am so unfortunate, but he was very grateful. But we know everything. Oh, कृष्ण तो हमारे कृष्ण है, हमारे कोर्ट में खेलते थे. लॉर्ड राम तो हमारे अयोध्या में आए थे, चैतन्य महाप्रभु तो हमारे नवद्वीप में आए थे. बट हम क्या कर रहे हैं? आशुतोष लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? कृष्ण was looking towards that map to the west side. When that day will come, when I will go to the west and I will enjoy the better facility. But they are aspiring just like the devatas are aspiring. That means we must be very, very special. And what is so special about us? Devatas are mentioning that why we are so special. Why we are so special? Because we were in Bharatvarsha. Why we are so special?
Because of the personality of God is pleased with us.
Yes, Ranjit, no? We are naturally serving Mukunda. Okay?
Some sukriti is required to be born.
Wonderful. They must have exhibited some pious acts of austerities in the past. So that means, if you are already born in Bharatvarsha, that means you can say, yes, I have done something in the past. You must have definitely, otherwise without that it is not at all possible to be born in this land of Bharatvarsha. Can we have one round of applause to all of us? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Either this and or gate. Or gate. What is the or gate? Either we must have done something very special, a pious act in the past, or our dear Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, must have been pleased with us. How special, it's a goosebump that we are getting. Krishna is pleased with us, otherwise it is not possible to be born in this Bharat land. And otherwise, they could not engage in devotional service in so many ways. So, if we are born in Bharatvarsha, our duty is to serve Mukunda. Not to be expert in ChatGPT, Python, AI, or many other things. We must be expert in Mukunda Seva. That is the only purpose that we have born here, because our legacy or the historical data shows that we must have done either very pious activities or we have some blessings on the top. That's why we are here. If we are not utilizing that blessing and that pious act, and if we are just endeavoring into be expert into something else, then we are actually wasting the human form of life. And that too specially born into the Bharatvarsha. And Devatas, they have everything, and what they are aspiring now?
To be born in Bharat.
Wish we could born in Bharatvarsha. We demigods can only aspire to achieve human birth in Bharatvarsha. You would have heard this earlier, right? Many times Devatas are praying that they wanted to be born in the Bharatvarsha. But today is the shloka, that is the things where they are aspiring. So we are aspiring to go there. Grass on the other side is always a green. We are thinking that we go there, the satisfaction, the enjoyment is multifold. But those who are having already satisfaction and the enjoyment at multifold, they saying they are not satisfied. They wanted to something else. And what is that? They wanted to something special because they wanted to be born in the Bharatvarsha. Why it is so special? Why Devatas, they can also engage in the Mukunda Seva there. Why they wanted to be in Bharatvarsha here? Sorry?
Spiritual and devotion.
That is also possible there.
Span is very low.
Span is low, very low here.
Krishna chose this land, Bharat land, to take birth.
Okay, our dear Lord Bhagavan Sri Krishna appeared here. Okay, somebody said something. Yes, and that is what the next shloka will come, where they are saying that We have so much of affluence that we have no, there is nothing to think of Krishna, right? Why people think about Krishna? There are 4 types of people who come to Krishna. And who are the 4 types of Krishna? Chaturvido bhajanti mami. Artho jignasu arthasi jnani cha bharatarsha. These are the 4 types of people. So if you have difficulties, Ranjit Prabhu, then only will come to Krishna. And if you have no difficulties, why would come here? And Sunday morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, who on this earth will come here and chant Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Probably we would be thinking that everything is very happy. If there is no difficulty, I don't think that any one of us will be here. If like our Hare Krishna TV, they ask devotees and they take interviews, and the question how I came to Krishna consciousness. And if you see any one of this story, there is always either 4 of the reasons, or maybe the special mercy of Krishna or Krishna's devotee. Either difficulties, or need of money, or gyanis, or jigyasu, that how is it possible that why there is birth, why there is a death, why so many people are suffering, something or something. So, but these people on this, they have everything. So that's why they are saying that we will not able to engage into the devotional service. And on this earthly planet, this very equal proportionate happiness as well as distress, and that is why we have a very special opportunity, because it's too much of happiness, we do not remember Krishna, and too much of suffering, you won't remember Krishna. And when there is an optimum balance of sukha and dukkha, and this is the place where optimum balance is there, and we have this opportunity. So, though we are aspiring to go up, they are aspiring to come here and engage in the service of Krishna. Of course, we go to up, and Bhagavad Gita 9.21, and what is that? Kshine punne marte loko vishanti. We may engage according to the Karma Kanda section. We may, and of course, not only that, we already have Karma Kanda pious activity. Because of that, we may go up. And then what happens? What is the problem if you go up? Kshine punne marte loka vishanti. When our pious credit is over, which we have earned here in this Bharat Bhumi, once we go there, we'll enjoy for some more time. And when the pious credit exhausted, again we'll back to the square. And we don't know whether we'll be born in Bharatvarsha or some other land. We do not know. So the futility of that, after doing all this endeavor, you may stay there for some time, and we may again come back to this earthly planet, and we do not know. Teto bhaktva swargalokam vishalam kshine punne marte loko vishanti. So even if we go there, the cycle will actually repeat. So even if from heaven, again back to the earth. So that is why the first portion was the Devatas are astonished to know that like something, if something that you do not have and somebody else has, that you will be astonished. And that is exactly, Devatas were completely in astonishment, and they said that, how fortunate these souls on this earthly planet are there. And now we will go to the second portion. The second portion is that how rare, not only to be born in the Bharatvarsha, but how rare to be born as human form. Jalajanav lakshani sthavara laksha vimshati krumaya rudra sankhyanam pakshinam dasha lakshanam Trimsha lakshani pashavam chatur lakshani manusha. This is coming from Padma Purana. There was one devotee who was asked, who was like, after we hear so much of devotional service, and he was desperate and he was coming despondent, and he asked his Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, I don't think that I will able to make Krishna consciousness, are able to successful in this life. And Maharaj said that you are already there. What do you mean by you are already there? Because you are already born as a human form of life, that is already in the top 4.76%. If if you do the calculations, among 84 lakhs, how many species of the human form of life are there? 4 lakh. If you say there are 9 lakshani jalaja, aquatics are 9 lakshas, and then non-movings 20 lakhs and many other things. And if you see somewhere corner, there are only 4 laksha, which are the only human form of life. That means among the creation of all our dear Lord Krishna, 4.76% are only human beings. So Ranjit, we are already very, we are in the top notch of 5%. Satyajit Prabhu, we are top notch 5%. Now we are already reached there. Then what next is that 4.76% will help us to go to that. Now, so then I was thinking that there are many shlokas in Srimad Bhagavatam which actually talks about how rare is this human form of life. So I collected few of these shlokas and let us see here. This is from 11th canto, 9th chapter, shloka number 29. Labdva sudurlam idam bhau sambhavante manusham artham anityam abhiyadhira turnam etetana patedanum mrutyam. Okay. So labdha sudurlabam. So this is from canto 11, Avanti Brahmana, and he had many spiritual masters, and one of the spiritual master is his own body, and he learned from his own body that labdva sudurlabam idam. Labdva means attained. Sudurlabam. Not only durlabam, sudurlabam idam. Idam means, because he is learning from Guru. One of the Guru is his body. So he is saying, labdva sudurlabam idam. So having obtained this body, sudurlabam, it is very rare. After many births, you don't get like that, because after you coming from different species, you may come back to the human form of life. One achieve this labdham durlabam, which is although temporary, which can afford, gives the opportunity for the highest perfection. We'll see what is that highest perfection. So Avanti Brahmana is saying that sudurlabam labdva. There is another shloka, which is again discussion between 11th canto is discussion between Uddhava and our dear Lord Krishna, and Krishna is talking about that Nuva Deham Adaye Sulabam Sudurlabam. So what he is saying? Lord Krishna is saying that again, this human form of life is Sudurlabam, is very rare. And Lord Krishna is saying that this human form of life can be compared, this body can be compared to the Plavam. Plavam means boat. This boat. And on this boat, there is a Karnadharam. Who is a Karnadharam? Guru Karnadharam. Guru Karnadharam means captain. Karnadharam. And who is that captain? Spiritual master. So, as soon as we got this human form of life, that means we got a boat to cross this Bhosagar. Those who are expert, they may try to swim. Forget about ocean. If you come to our mother Ganges and in the very that high flow current, it is very difficult to cross from one bank to the other bank. Then what to talk about? This ocean. But Lord Krishna is personally saying that which is easier, swimming or going on the boat? Boat. So similarly, the human form of life is like a boat. And not only that human form of life is a boat, there is a Karnadhar. And who is that Karnadhar? Who gives us direction, who gives instruction how to cross this ocean. And then there is a favorable wind. And what is that favorable wind? Scripture, instructions coming from our dear Lord, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So this human form of life is very durlabha, because we get opportunity to cross this ocean of Bhavsagar. So Avanti Brahman is saying durlabham. Our dear Lord Krishna is also saying, yes, it is also durlabham, but we get opportunity to cross because this human form of body is like a boat, and we have an instruction from our spiritual master like Guru Karnadharam, and then there is a favorable wind in the form of instruction coming from the scriptures. But if we do not utilize these advantages to cross this ocean, then what will happen? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam, e sansare, kalut ustare, krupaya pare, pahi murare. We will repeat the cycle of birth and death in this. And who knows where we will be there. So this is the only opportunity. This human form of life is the junction. Through the junction, either you can go up or you can go down. It is up to us. And that's why Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Instruction, preface, Krishna consciousness depends upon the attitude of the practitioner. It is our how we take this Krishna consciousness. We take this boat for crossing the Bhavasagar, or we may make hold to that boat and then we will sink into that. That there was one boat which was made, that boat will never sink, and on their first journey itself it was actually sunk. So similarly, if we are not very alert and taking granted this human form of life, and that too in Bharatvarsha, then we may make a hold to this boat, and if we make a hold to that boat, it is just matter of time that not only the boat will sink, we will also sink. Now next again, so what we are discussing? Durlabha Manushya Janma. And the next shloka is from the 7th canto. So what is the 7th canto? Prahlad Maharaj passed on 6, and then Sri Prahlad Uvacha Kaumaram Acharate Pragyo Dharman Bhagavatan Iha Durlabha Manusham Janma Tad Api Adhruvam Arthadam. So this is the 6th chapter of 7th canto is the teachings by Prahlad Maharaj to his friends, schoolmates. And the very first shloka, what is saying that Kaumaram Acharate Pragyo. So we have to practice this Krishna consciousness from the childhood, from the Kaumaram, not only youth, not to the adulthood, not to the similar, definitely not from the old age. Recently, one of devotees, she was telling that when her father was very young, he was so strict, and even if he just says some word, the whole house will actually get scared of him. But now he became so old that all that darara or everything now has no value. Now he's not able to even chant Hare Krishna Mantra, he cannot speak. So we must practice Krishna consciousness from. And that is why Prahlad Maharaj gave his instruction to his schoolmate that Kaumaram Acharate Pragya. So we have to practice from Kaumaram. What is that? Dharman Bhagavatam Iham. So we have to practice this from childhood devotional service. Today, kids are practicing from the childhood. But what they are practicing? How to operate mobile. And parents like us, when I see Gaurang is operating cell phone, I feel very proud, as if he has crossed the human form of life and gone beyond this ocean of Bhavasagar. I feel very happy. Beta 2 again, and I give cell phone to him. Because Kaumaram Acharate Pragya, I think probably I have heard the first part of that. I did not hear Dharman Bhagavatam here. So you have to practice. But what he has to practice? Dharma, devotional service, not for any other things. Because the shloka, Devatas are Gayanti, they are singing from that. This particular human form of life is for only Mukunda Seva. There is no other purpose, there is no other purpose. Absolutely, there is no other purpose of this human form of life that born in this Bharatvarsha. And this body is Adhruvam. What is Adhruvam? So Prahlad Maharaj saying, this body is Adhruvam. Dhruvam is Dhruva Maharaj. That is Dhruva Maharaj, of course. It is also means very fixed, determined, permanent. And Adhruvam means temporary. So though this human form of body is temporary, Prahlad Maharaj saying Arthadam. What does it mean by Arthadam? It is very meaningful. So the nature of this human form of life is temporary, but it can offer a boat to cross the ocean of this Bhausagar. And that is why Prahlad Maharaj saying that we must practice Kaumaram Acharate Pragyo Dharman Bhagavatam Hin. Sometimes when our devotees start practicing Krishna consciousness, and when they go to the office where their old friends, oh, now you are not doing what you are supposed to, you became a mad. In fact, you are supposed to do these things when you become old. When you are not able to chant, where you are not able to sit because of the lower back and many other problems, at that time, Satyajit Prabhu, is it possible to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Absolutely no way, we cannot chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So when we have to start, maybe we are not fortunate to start from the childhood, but whenever you get the opportunity, now, right now, please start chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Not from youth, not from the adulthood, definitely not from the old age, because this body is adhruvam arthakam. And then Raghavendra Prabhu's special prayers, Jantu prayers. So the Jantus are actually praying in the womb of mother. And they are saying, so why is this human form of very special? He said that in the mother's womb, I have been in this space, I am being completely being difficult. It's a very difficult situation for me, because whatever my mother eat, I have to be tolerate that. She might be eating very spicy sambar, rasam, pizza, burger, and many other things she is eating. And for my this tender body, I'm finding it's very difficult. I don't want this human form of life again and again. I pray to you, I promise, oh my dear Lord, as soon as I come out of this my mother's womb, I will engage in your service. Jantu is praying. And then what happens when this Jantu, when he comes out of womb, and all this, oh beta, you want, then he is crying, and they give so much of love that he forgot whatever the promise that he has given to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, our dear Lord Krishna. He says that I am so special because I got this human form of body. Why is so special? He says that in the form of body of the animals, they operate on the instinct. The shloka is talking, but the English is instinct. It is operating on the instinct. What do you mean by instinct? Sorry, bro? मन में आया वो कर दिया. Just do it. Just do it. As soon as you feel I want that, don't think of anything, just do it. And that is where the Jantu, and the Jantu are nobody else. It is we. We also say that, thanks Krishna that I have got this human form of body because I don't act on the instinct. Then how do I act? I can intentionally control and regulate my senses. The Jantu is saying, oh my God, so special, right? And when we come out, we say that just do it, eat, sleep, and repeat the loop again and again. And so the distinction between the human body and the Jantu is so intelligent, because the human form of life is intelligent. And this animal, they only knows what is agreeable, what is disagreeable, what I like and what I don't like. What I like, I do it. What I don't like, I don't do it. So that means they are just operating on the principle of bodily platform. There is nothing else for them. If they wanted to cross the road, they will cross. Even if the signal is red, nobody will give them ticket. But we as the human form, if you cross the ticket, if you cross the red light, the red street light, what will happen?
Fine.
You will get the ticket, you will get the thing. But opposite to that, we as the human being, he said that we have a destination. We have the purpose. And what is that purpose? We have to engage in the service of Krishna. Sometimes we see that how we can be very committed and sincere, because unless and until we know what is the purpose. When we have a long purpose in our life, even if there may be small difficulties on the bank when we are going, as we are flowing, but if we have a purpose in our life, we will definitely never get diverted. You see, forget about the devotees. Even those who are in this material life, they are very famous and they are so-called successful. definitely they had a purpose in their life. They had a mission in their life. They had destination in their. That is where they say that they possesses the intelligence to understand the ultimate destination. They had a destination. If you take example that since some time back I was following cricket and Sachin Tendulkar. So you know what he used to do? He used to take all that heavy bags going from one place to the Dada Stadium, and whole day he will have the pad and run between the wickets for the whole day. So much of effort, and all his friends were going watching movie in Mumbai, but he was so fixed because he had a goal. So similarly, as a living entity, as a sadhaka, we must have a goal, and our goal has been given by our acharyas, not just dharma, artha, kama, moksha, but what is the goal for all of us? Krishna prema. And when we have that, we definitely should tolerate whatever come on the way. His Grace Radhesham Prabhu was telling one wonderful story that once one devotee, he got ready and took bath, dhoti kurta, and he was going to take puja for the Srangam temple. And on the way, on that elephant, he was going or whatever is that, and there was some other people who were actually criticizing and blaspheming, and he was not giving attention. So Radhesham Prabhu said that he didn't give any focus to them because he had a purpose. And what was the purpose? That to engage into the service. So on the way, we may practice Krishna consciousness. There will be so many difficulties, so many challenges, so many people will actually criticize, blaspheme, or there may be so many things, material things will come on our way that please enjoy these things. Just like Hanumanji was jumping, she said, please take a rest for some time. He said, no, I cannot afford any one moment in the service of my dear Lord, Bhagwan Prabhu Ramchandraji. So similarly, when we have a mission, when we have a goal, when we have a purpose, when we have a destination, no matter what, how many difficulties, how severe the difficulties, how challenging the difficulties, we will definitely tolerate if we have purpose and goal. And this is what we promise to Krishna. Jantu prayer. And what are the animal bodies? They cannot pursue anything beyond the survival. They have all only purpose is only how to survive. And for all of us, survival is not the goal. For all of us, it is only the service of Lord Sri Krishna is the goal for all of us. So, Jantu is praying that, and this is the very famous shloka. Prabhupada quote this shloka for many times. So, we saw that human form of life is very rare. We saw that human form of life is very special because we can distinguish what is our goal, what is our purpose. We are not acting on the instinct. We have a destination. And the next is that definitely human form of life is not meant for this. Yashasma buddhi punape tridhatuke. If you search, Prabhupada has quoted this shloka many times. So what it says that? It says that we are identifying the body as which is the bag of mucus, bile and air. So that means the first thing that we do, that we identify ourselves with this body. Not only that we identify ourselves with this body, that we get attached to those who are connected to this body. So there are two things. My spiritual master says aham and mameti. Aham is what I, and mameti belongs to me. So what is mameti will depend upon what is the definition of aham. Did you understand? If my definition of aham is body, then my mameti will be related to only body. So here the four problems or the real illusion that the shloka talks about, that the first is the body. We identify with the body, and you see that everything is related to the body. The whole assumption in this material world is actually building on this body, identifying ourselves with this body. And everything we build is based on this platform or the foundation, and if this foundation itself is wrong or elusive, that we are this body, everything else will actually go. Just like in mathematics, we start with something assumption, and with that assumption, we will start proving some theory, some theorem, but our assumption itself is wrong. everything else we do will actually go for toss. And not only that, we think that this land of birth is worshipable. Of course, it is if we think it's independent of Krishna, that is not the right thing, but if it's connected with Krishna, it's always very good. And they see the holy place merely as the water there while ignoring the spiritual masters. So they see the pilgrimage is just a place for water, going there and taking a bath or taking the photos and putting into the status. And so, if we are engaging all these four activity, Lord Krishna is telling to the sages in 10th canto, 84th shloka, we are nothing but a Gokhara. What is a Gokhara? Cow and ash. So such a person who is, because the human form of life is not meant for identifying with the body, human form of life is not meant extending our body to the next. Human form of body is not meant to seeing the pilgrimage place as just a place for taking bath there. Human form of life is meant for something more. But if we are thinking that this human form of life is meant for this, we are nothing but the Gokhara. Definitely human form of life is not meant for the sense gratification. And 5.5.1, otherwise go through 5.5.1. What is this? Rishabdev prayers. Rishabh Uvacha. Nayam Deho Dev Bhajam Ruke. So the translation says that this human form of body is not meant for working hard day and night simply for the sense gratification, which is available even for the dogs and hogs. Prabhupada writes, Prabhupada is very special. Prabhupada loves these things. That Prabhupada sees that in one of the purpose, Prabhupada says that when he sees the people getting up early in the morning, 4 o'clock, traveling by metro, going to the place, taking the bus, going to the workplace and working for 9 hours or 10 hours and coming back and returning home only by 11:30 or 12 o'clock morning and night to get up only 3 o'clock in working day and night simply for the sense gratification. And unfortunately, our devotees are also put into this situation nowadays because the AI has taken and everybody, all the employees are asked to prove themselves because otherwise our position will be gone. And many devotees shared that now they have to work minimum 10 to 11 hours. But unfortunately, Rishabdev did not say like this, our body is not meant for that. In fact, it is meant for tapo divyam. It is meant for the transcendental austerity. This is also austerities. By the way, this is also austerity. Look, I have seen the people going from my place to Mumbai, morning 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, there was an express called Panchavati Express. They will get off 3:30, 4 o'clock, catch that train, go to Mumbai, work, come back again that train by 11:30, 12 o'clock night, and sleeping only for 3-4 hours, working day and night. But Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada said that Rishabdev definitely said that human form of life is not meant for that. Then, so what happened if we just waste our human form of life for this? Time is running out. This shloka, Saunak Rishi is stating that Ayur harati vaipumsam Udayanna astam chayanna so Tasyete yakshanam notam nitam Uttama shloka vartaya. So this shloka is talking about that for the previous people. What are those previous people? Those who are engaging their body for sense gratification. Time is running out. Time is running out. What happened? Udayam and Asta. What is Udaya and Asta? Rising and setting of our dear Surya Dev. Ayur Harati. Ayu means Ayurveda. Mataji, Ayurveda. Comes the word from Ayur. Means lifespan. Ayur Harati. The Ayus is actually being taking away every rising and the setting of the Surya Dev. We are coming closer and closer to death. But this is not applicable to whom? Ranjit Prabhu.
Devotees.
Those who are engaging in Uttama Shloka Vartaya. Those who are engaged in the Uttama Shloka Vartaya. What is Uttama Shloka Vartaya? Who is Uttama Shloka? Krishna, who is being glorified by very wonderful shloka. That's why it's called as Uttama Shloka Vartaya. So, if we are not engaged in Uttama Shloka Varta, Ayur Harati Udan Asta, every rising and the setting of the Surya Dev, we are actually coming closer and closer and closer to the death. But this is not the case for the devotees. So that means if we have to be, so just like Prabhupada gives the example of cat and rat, cat and kitten. If the cat has a form of death, it comes. For the rat, it is a death. But for the kitten, it is a love of mother. So similarly, even if death is there, but if we are Uttama Shloka Varta, we are actually safe. Just like we are studying this morning, we are discussing, we are studying in our Bhakti Vaibhav, and Ajamil, he actually was about to die. And what did he do?
He called Narayana.
Chatur Akshara, it is said Chatur Akshara, Na, Ra, Ya, Na. He just chanted the four syllables Na, Ra, Yan. And at that moment, when the Yamadutas came, at that moment appeared Vishnu Duta. Because the death for the devotee is not like as those who are engaged sense gratification. So what is the purpose? So now we saw the human form of life is very rare. We saw that the human form of life is not meant for the sense gratification. And we saw that if we are engaging, including me, if we are engaging in the sense gratification, we are just wasting the human form of life every single day. Then purpose, the question is, what is it meant for? What is it meant for? The shloka says that Yam prape manusya lokam mukti dwaram apavrutam. So what does it mean? Sri Ramachandra Kripalu Prabhu. What does it mean? Ye prape manusya lokam. Having obtained this manusya form of human form of life, for what? Mukti Dwaram Apavrutam. So this is again Lord is telling, 11th canto is Lord telling to Uddhava, is the Uddhava Gita. He is saying that we get the opportunity in the only human form of life. Not in the other form of life we get this opportunity for the liberation. The doors of liberations are open, wide open, not only open, wide open, who has achieved the human form of life. But the trap is that. What is the trap? If we just engage into the sense gratification, it's like that the bird is flying very high and from there you are falling back into the material pool. That is the opportunity that we are missing, having gone to such that 4.76% of the human form of life, having got that human form of life, coming very closer to the liberation, Lokam Mukti Dwaram, we are just close to the Dwaram. And then we say that, okay, let's enjoy in the sense gratification. And from the third floor, we'll actually fall down that. Just like the Jay and Vijay and the four Kumaras were there, and then he cursed them. Immediately Jay and Vijay, within a moment, actually they fell down. So similarly, if we got this human form of life, ye prapyam manusya lokem mukti dwaram, it is meant for mukti, for the liberation. Prabhupada talks about that. The purpose of the human form of life is for mukti dwaram, not for any other purpose. If any other purpose, then we are none other than Gokhara. We are none other than Gokhara. Then what is this human form of life? This is 7.6.2. 7.6.2. Again Prahlad Maharaj, following that shloka, Omar Acharate Pragya, he says that Yata hi purushe sheham Vishnu padopasa arpanam Ye desha sarva bhutanam Priya Atmeshwara Surutam. This human form of life, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, is that for Vishnu Pada Arpanam Samarpanam. So we have to surrender to the lotus feet of Vishnu. Why only Vishnu? Why to only Vishnu? Very good. Sarva Bhutanam Priya is very dear to all the living entities. Second, why? Atma Ishwaraha. He is the true master of all the living entities. There are masters, but they are exploiting their servant or associates. But the true master always think of the welfare of living entities. And that is why Krishna, as a well-wisher of all the living entities, he gives n number of opportunities. One devotee said that Lord is so merciful, so Kripalu, so Dayalu, that even if every day we make 25,000 mistakes, how many? Still he gives us opportunity to come closer to him. Can we imagine that? How he is Atma Ishwar, true master of the soul. Even if we are in the human form of life, who is the closest to all of us? Krishna as a Paramatma. If you go in the cat and dog, who is very close to us? And if you go in the form of, Prabhupada says, what is that next? Ox. Who is close to all of us? And who can be the dear master like this? Even despite being in different species, he is always with all of us. And that is why he is called Atma Ishvara. He is the true master. In fact, Prabhupada says that more than we wanted to go him, he wanted all of us come to there. And that is why he gives us a lot of opportunities. What are the different opportunities he gives?
Scriptures.
He gives the scripture. Association of devotees. He gives devotees. Without the association of devotees, why we should be here on this Sunday morning? Definitely not here. And then next, sorry, mother. Deity. Most important deity worship for all of us to engage in deity worship. And most important, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Not only is free to all of us, not only is Atma Ishvara, he is Suhritam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the well-wisher of all the living entities. Sometimes people say that, oh, this Bhagavad Gita is only for some particular sect. Krishna never said in Bhagavad Gita, he said that, Surudam Sarva Bhutanam. I am the well-wisher of all the living entities. Surudam Sarva Bhutanam. So the human form of life is actually meant for only surrendering to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. There are many things. How do we know that what is the duty of the human form of life? This is very wonderful. Lord Krishna, along with his friend, Stoka Krishna, Amsha, Sridham, Subala, and they are going and they see a tree there. And it is a very hot, 43 degrees Celsius maybe. We have now exposure of 45, 50 degrees Celsius. And he says that, and Krishna is still looking at the tree, and he says that this tree is very wonderful. The life of the tree is very successful. Edo Janma Safalyam. The life of the tree is very successful. Dehinam Dehi Dehishu. Why? Because Prana Arthe Vacha Sreya Acharanam Sadam. Because he has used all his Vacha, all his Prana, all his Artha, all his Dhiya in the welfare activities of others. This is the duty of the human form of life. We are just not meant to talk about or make sure that what is good for all of us. I, me, my body, my wife, my son, my daughter. Not, absolutely not that. Etav janma safalyam dehinam dehi dehishu. If we use our prana, our vacha, our artha, our dhiya. Dhiya means intelligence. We should utilize our intelligence. What we can do to give this Krishna consciousness to others? What is this artha? I get salary on the last day of month. What shall I do with that? Or go to pizza and burger and enjoy money? No, what I can do with that? Prana. This, as long as I have prana. So as our janma can be considered as a safalya, successful, only when we use our vacha. when we use our prana, when we use our artha, when we use our dhiya in the welfare activities of others. And wonderful example of our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, he would have been very happy in Vrindavan at the age of 69, but he said that welfare of all living entities. That is the compassion of the Vaishnava. Vaishnavas by nature are very compassionate. What I can do for others is not about always I and me. What I can do for others. One example that our couple of devotees said that I know how to play mridangam. What can I do for them? Then he said, okay, let me do something for them. Somebody said that I know how to play kartal. How can I do for others? It's not only about I, me, mine. About myself, my husband, my wife, my kids. How can I make them to chant shlokas? How can I make them do this and that? Of course, that will follow that what we are doing for others. Devotee said that don't go to Krishna and ask, Krishna, give me these things. Go and ask, request Krishna what I can do for you. When we say Krishna, Krishna means Krishna's devotees. We should ask ourselves what I am doing for others. And that is where Krishna is actually telling here that, and finally, there are many things that we will pause here. How do you know what is the perfection of the human form of life? And this is again 10.82. That means Krishna meeting the Brajavasis in Kurukshetra on the occasion of solar eclipse. And he's asking all the Brajavasis or Gopis, how are you? Do you remember me? How are you doing? And at that time he says that, Mai bhakti hi bhutanam, amrutatvaya kalpate, dishjayat asinmat sneho, bhavati nam matapanah. Rendering devotional service to me qualifies any living being for the eternal life. So Krishna is telling the purpose of the human form of life, Mair Bhaktir. That is the only purpose. The whole discussion was all about is that come to this conclusion. And to come to this conclusion is the perfection of the human form of life. Jivana Safalyam, Janma Safalyam. The previous sloka was talking about the Janma Safalyam. Even if you become CEO, even if you become Prime Minister, President, even if you become some sport expert, very famous personality, Janma Safalya is only when we surrender to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, not for any other purpose. Oh, this is also very wonderful. I like this sloka. This is Durlava Manushya Deho, Dehina Kshana Bhangura, Tatravi Durlabhya Manyam, Vaikunta Priya Darshanam. So this is Narad Muni is giving instruction 11th canto and he's actually quoting the conversation between Nimi Maharaj and now Yogendra. And this particular shloka comes, Durlabha Manushya Deva. He's saying actually Durlabha Manushya Janma is very Durlabha. But more than Durlabha of human form of life is Tatrabi Durlabham Vaikunta Priya Darshanam, association of those who are very dear to Lord Krishna. Means association of the devotees. So this is the previous shloka was talking Mair Bhakti and how to engage into Mair Bhakti by the association of the devotee, by the mercy of devotee, one should. Otherwise, Durlabha Manusya Deho, Dehinu Kshana Bhangur. We do not know this moment we are here, next moment Kshana Bhangur, this life will actually get vanquished. We will leave this. But more than that is that to get the association of those who have a Vaikunta very clear, Vaikunta Priya Darsana, so beautiful. Please recite once and we'll pause here. Durlabha Manusya Deho, Dehinam Kshana Bhangura, Tatravi Durlabham Manya, Vaikunta Priya Darshanam. To summarize, that Devatas are Gayanti, they are singing that, oh, so fortunate, all of us, we are in Srimad Bhagavatam, on the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, we are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam because we are born on this earthly planet. And Devatas are very happy because Devatas, they are saying that, oh, this human form of life, I wanted to be there. Oh, they are expressing their astonishment that they wanted to be engaged like the human form of life, to engage in the service of Krishna. So that was the first point. The second point we discussed about how rare is the human form of life. About 8.4 million, we get only 400,000. So 4 lakh, that is 4.76%. And then we saw that how Durlabha Manusha is there. And then after Durlabha Manusha, if you don't utilize this Durlabha Manusha and only engaging only I, me and mine, we are nothing but the go khara. And the result is that Ayur Haratim Udayam Astam, every rising and the setting of the Surya Dev, we are coming closer to the death and death. Then what we should do? In the next thing was that we should, as Prahlad Maharaj says that Vishnu Padasa Arpanam, we should surrender to the lotus feet of Vishnu. And then Krishna says the purpose of the human form of, the perfection of the human form of life is only to Mayur Bhakti. And the next is that, how do we do that? In the association of Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam. Had we not be association of our dear founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, definitely our life would not be Janma Safalya. Janma Safalya means we use our Vacha, our the 4 things. What are the 4 things? Prana, Artha and Diya in the service of others. Thank you very much. Prabhupada ki jai. Any comment or question? Couple of yes, Julie Matas.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much Prabhuji for nicely explaining how our human form of life is so rare and how we can utilize that. And if we are not utilizing this human form of life, so why that go is used, Prabhuji? Because go is very dear to our Lord Sri Krishna. So that
so it is not in the context of that as the body, as the means you are getting in the animalistic life. So in that context, of course, today evening when we are going to the Goshala, we will glorify Go Mata there. That Go Mata is in the aspect of that you will get the body of the animal. So that in that aspect it is in the context of that. But as such, Go Mata is our Gopala, our Govinda. Prabhu was saying that it is everything with Gopala, Govinda. It's only who is protecting cows, who is.
So Gokhara, one time I read or heard that it is the dust particle of the leg of the goat.
That's very pious actually. But here is the animal. The context is that we are wasting the human form of life. You are nothing but prani. You are Pashu. That's all. So that is the.
Thank you so much.
So one more question.
Yes, Prabhu.
So today's class is mainly on taking birth in India. That is Bharatavarsha.
Bharatavarsha.
Very lucky and all. And about 90% of the this one class was covered with this fact only.
I think there was one. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Because this today's class is mainly focused on taking birth in India only, this one.
Yes.
And at the same time, to escape from the loop of cycle of birth and death, one should, because this material world is dukhalam ashasham. This is going to be a little bit contrary. We have to endeavor for going back home, back to Godhead. But whereas here, this is
Difficulties are there.
yes. How can we
So
understand?
we just heard the next shloka which will come there, which is 5.19.22 is that if we do not have difficulty, then we are like devatas, that we have all the opulences there. So the difficulty is just little bit difficulties is there, so that we will actually do not get settled here. So this my friend has a slogan: never settle anything for less. So if our life is very happy here, then why we would have a need to go to the Vaikuntha? We say that let me be in Bangalore only. But this traffic is there to give us reminder. Life is not happy here. Please think of that. So this, of course, there are opportunity in this human form of life to go, but there are also difficulties which actually to inspire us, to motivate us for two things. to serve Krishna and not to in this Bangalore place or Bharat. And because if we have too much of happiness, we saw that Chaturveda Bhajanti Mam Jana, right? So the four types, Artho, Jignasu, Aratarthi, Gyani, Bharatvarsha. So the four types of people, we will never come to Krishna. So this little bit is always good. For example, now Raghavendra Prabhu, we are doing Bhakti Vaibhav, and there are some 72 shlokas we have to remember. If there is no exam, I would have never put endeavor. So some effort is required. If the kids, there is no exam, they will never study. So little difficulties, little dukkha is always good, so that otherwise we will get settled here, and then settled here means punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. So little dukkha is necessary. In fact, it is very important for all of us to have that. What do you say, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, what do you think? Should we have difficulties? Kapil Prabhu, why should I have difficulties? Go to God. Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Does that help, Prabhu? Yes. So I forgot, but this is very important. The last purport, Prabhupada's purport is so beautiful. So there are many facilities in India, Bharatvarsha. What are those facilities? All the acharyas contributed here. So we are very special. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally appeared. He has shown how to teach people how to engage into the devotional service. And the next importance is that first make your life successful, and you next important what you do? Parapakara. And by doing that, the result is that throughout the world will actually get benefit. So that is where we started. So we'll pause here. Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare.
So please take this human form of life very, very rare and engage into the service of Mukunda to avoid liberation. Otherwise, go khara. Thank you very much. Hare.
Hare Krishna. I'd like to thank Yugala Prabhuji for such a wonderful and joyous and experienced class. I'd like to request the rostering Prabhu to schedule more classes from Yugala